How are you guys doing today? Today, I want to talk about how a simple credit card helped save my life. So stay tuned. My name is Jay, and welcome to Ask a Debt Collector, a subsidiary of Clear and Strategic. Now, I've been in the debt collection industry for over 15 years. Over the last 10 years, I've been the go-to guy for friends and family for questions regarding debt and credit. Now I want to be that person for you. Let's go. So let me tell you a story about how it all started. At the end, probably November of 2022, my oldest sister, for her 50th birthday, she decided she wanted to do a 50th cruise. The great thing is she gave us ample time. She wasn't going to be turning 50 till January of 2024, so that gave us some time to actually save. That gave my family of 5 about a little over a year to save for flights, hotel, a rental car, and food for that day. And then obviously the cruise itself. The reason why I needed all this stuff when going on a cruise, simply because we were flying into another state, number one. And number two, when you're going on a cruise, flying into another state, I was advised that you want to fly in a day before. So this way you don't end up missing out on the actual cruise itself if you try and time it up on the day of. So you come in a day before, obviously because I have a family of 5, 2 twins, and my oldest boy who went. I have 2 other kids that actually didn't go on this trip. So typically in this situation, what I would do is I would just basically save up the cash for it. Once I got the cash, pull out my debit card, which I'm a big no-no on, and pay the fees with regards to paying it. But now, because I'm a lot more savvy, I understand the importance of credit cards, I had to do another plan with regards to this trip. I had to figure out how to save the most amount of money that I can, as well as earning the most amount of points that I could possibly earn. So I know you guys know where I'm going with this. Let me take the time right now. If your credit score is in the 400s, the 500s, or the low 600s, chances are you need credit repair. Down below is a 20-minute free consultation with me. Let's figure out what's going on, what we can do to fix your issues, and get you into the 700 club, get you into that brand new house, that brand new car, that brand new credit card. Down below in the description, sign up for it. So now I had to figure out what credit card I was going to use for this trip. And a light bulb went off in my head. I remember I got an offer in the mail for a new credit card. And let me show you what credit card it was. It happened to be the Chase Sapphire Preferred. Now, as you can see, an $80,000 bonus. After you spend $4,000 on purchases in the first 3 months from account opening. That's $1,000 reward when you redeem through Chase. Ultimately, I had to think, alrighty, I got this offer. It was mid-2023, I know that I had to spend $4,000 in 3 months. This trip definitely was going to be around that amount. For the cruise itself would have been around that amount for all 5 of us. And that's all I had to spend to get the 80,000 points. So with that, I had to go and think about it. So I applied for the card in July to make sure I had ample time to get redeem the rewards. A big mistake that I've made in the past with another credit card, similar situation, I thought that in the first month, if I spend it that limited amount, I would get the points. But they say in the first 3 months. So they give you 3 months to spend that amount. If you spend it early, that's cool. You'll get the points, but you won't get it till after that 90 days, the 3 months. And so I knew July, if I applied for the card, I paid for the stuff and made sure I paid for a few other things in order to get the points. By October, I would get the rewards, that 80,000 points. That way it gave me enough time to actually book a hotel, a car rental, as well as book the flights. And those are the things that I wanted to use that $1,000 for to make it a lot cheaper with regards to everything that's going on. So by planning out beforehand, so I knew that if I bought the flights for all 5 of us and book the cruise, I would spend the $4,000 and get the 80,000 points. Now with the 80,000 points, what I would do is through Chase, I would actually book the hotel, the rental car, and the food for that day, and I wouldn't have to spend a dime. Now, most people would have just had to spend out of pocket because you wouldn't have used a credit card. But nevertheless, I used the credit card. I planned and I strategically came up with doing this plan here that worked out perfectly. Everything all worked out. We go on the 8-day cruise with family. We get there. I don't have to pay any extra money outside of what I paid originally for the flight and the cruise. I didn't have to pay any extra money for that extra day. Now, the cruise was a success. As you can see, this is everybody who went on this cruise. It was a lot of us. There's probably like 10 people who are missing from this actual picture. Those of you who've gone on cruises, you know it's hard when you have a big party to get everyone together. But this happened to be the first day, and we had a great time. The issue came when it was time to leave. As everyone's driving to the New Orleans airport, international airport, everyone starts getting text messages showing that our flights were canceled. Now, that really sucked. Our flight was canceled. We were flying from New Orleans to Texas, and because of in Texas, there was some bad weather, they've canceled the flight. For those of you who understand anything about flights, when your flight gets canceled due to a natural disaster, i.e. the weather, the airlines will not give you any vouchers for food, any vouchers for a hotel, anything along those lines. And because we were a family of 5 and everybody within that situation was all panicking, everyone was stressing out because they had to go to work the next day. Obviously they had to pay money because a lot of the flights were delayed till the next day. And in our case, I initially wasn't really tripping. I knew I had about 60,000 more points left over after spending for that first day when I found the hotel, the car rental, and so forth. I went right online, got an agent to book me a hotel. Now, in our case, we end up having to stay for 2 days. And the reason why is because it was 5 of us. And in order to find a flight where all 5 of us can go together, it took us 2 days. So we end up staying later than anybody else on the cruise. But I wasn't stressing out because I knew I had the 60,000 points. After paying for a hotel for 2 days, food, which I was going to use the points for with regards to that, and another rental, I think I came out of my pocket about $50 in total. Hey, I wanted to jump in right now and tell you guys not to forget down below to check out my free letter bundle. You'll get 4 letters absolutely free to help you on your credit journey. There's a pay to delete, a goodwill letter, a cease and desist letter, as well as a debt validation letter. That's to help you out on your journey. Be sure to check that out in the description down below. While we were there are a few things that I end up having to pay, which costs a little bit more money. Because we're in New Orleans and we're from California, I end up having to, get like some sweaters for all of us, paying for food, as well as, obviously we had the rental car, I had to put gas in it, and we wanted to sightsee and see some places down in New Orleans, so we did do that. So I end up spending probably out of pocket like $600 and something extra on top of the 60,000 points, which was, the equivalent of about $500 or $600. So we end up spending about another $1,000, but because I had the points, it took care of that. But on that second day, I thought to myself, wait a minute, isn't there insurance on these credit cards? What can I do with regards to that? So originally, I remember thinking on that second day, why, when I called Chase credit card services to book for these next 2 days that I was stuck here and use my points for, why didn't they tell me about the insurance? Chase, I think you guys should have given me that when I talked to the lady, but maybe she don't make no money off of that. I don't know. But nevertheless, I had looked on the back of the card and went through a trips claim service. And I started the process with regards to that. After talking to the person who was pretty nice there, I told him my trip was canceled and I ended up spending money and it was delayed and so forth. Now, the issue regards to the actual claim that I filed with the insurance company, which is not actually Chase. They handled, I think, like Navy Federal and a couple other banks, this insurance company. It took me a long time right? It took me like almost 2 or 3 months to get the money back, but there's a reason. I said a trip cancellation. And so I'm going through the process. One of the things that you have to do is you have to keep receipts of everything that you got, which I sort of kind of lost a little money because some of the receipts I didn't keep. As well as you got to have proof that your trip was canceled. And because I flew with Southwest, it's not like it's somebody I could get on the phone with customer service, so I had to go back and forth with emails and getting documentation for the insurance company, which gave me a lot of issues. And then come to find out, it wasn't a trip cancellation. And so because I filed under there, after speaking to maybe 15 people over the course of this time, because every time you call, you get someone new, there was a lady there. Her name was Monica. Monica, thank you so much. She looked over my situation after almost getting this thing denied. She goes, it's not a trip cancellation, it's a trip delay. And she puts a whole brand new claim in with regards to that, took all of the documentation. I'll take care of it, no problem. It should get approved now. And finally, I was approved for it. And here's the proof of that. As you can see, trip delay, $634.34 I was approved for. That was the actual full amount that I actually spent out of pocket that I got back. So technically I got my 60,000 points back, but the equivalent of that in cash deposited right into my checking account. So this is why I love credit cards so much. I want you to see the breakdown. Let me break this down for you. Originally, to fly 5 people to New Orleans on an 8-day cruise, and then the 8-day cruise itself costs about $4,000, right? I found a credit card that if you spent $4,000, you got 80,000 points, which was the equivalent of about $1,000 of spending. So I used 10,000 of those points, as you can see right here, for a rental car and a hotel and food for that first day. So we flew in early. I used the points with regards to that. Then when the flight was canceled and we had to stay for 2 more days, I used the other 60,000 points for 2-day rental, car rental, hotel, food, and then I had to buy some clothing. Now the bonus is the mere fact that I had the trip delay insurance. Because I used the credit card, it wouldn't have happened if I paid with cash or paid with a different debit card. Trip delay insurance, and they end up giving me back exactly the dollar amount that I spent out of my pocket of $634.37. If I used a debit card or paid in cash, none of this would have been able to happen. I would have probably been out of my pocket probably another $1,000 in general for this trip. So I saved myself that money. This is why credit cards are the best suit to use when you're paying for anything across the board. But the key is you have to be responsible with the credit card, right? I didn't use the credit card to pay for the trip that I couldn't afford to pay back. I used the credit card because I had the cash already in the bank to take care of this. If you have any questions, put them down in the comment section. I promise I'll answer those questions. And like I always state, you be great.